of female.
Yes.
Right. So the masculinity derives from male. It derives male and female. Originally, etymologically speaking.
What part of the social construct, other than having children,
The societal construct.
biologically, the process of actually having children.
I never mentioned that. Your background is really loud, but I never mentioned anything about like having children, because we do know that not all women can give birth, right? But only women can give birth, correct?
That's right.
Great. So the societal construct to which you're referencing is just going to be in reference to masculinity and femininity, not man and woman.
So what is the societal construct for masculinity?
Well, it will vary from society to society. I agree, but that's not what gender is. Allow me to finish. Gender is masculinity or femininity. That would be gender expression, or gender stereotypes will fall into a typical understanding of masculinity or femininity. So that's gender expression. But masculinity, I would say, typically in Western society, we view masculinity to be, in terms of attributes, I would say being tall, strong. For men, we would say that they have deeper voices, very muscular. We consider those things to be masculine,
So
typically in Western society.
High-pitched man is going to be feminine, in your opinion.
Pardon me?
So, like a higher-pitched, shorter man is more feminine. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make him any more feminine. It doesn't make him any. Like, there are arbitrary qualities that you've pinned to it.
Right. So that's not gender. So this is what I'm saying to you. I view gender and sex to be deterministically biological. Right. So I don't agree with modern gender theory. I don't agree with it.
And I would agree with that. But if you do want to detach them, it just makes them meaningless because they're arbitrary subjective statements.
I agree.
And so trans women aren't women. Well, what's a woman? If you look at it as gender, not sex, and we detach them, well, a woman is whatever we decide a woman is. Mm-hmm. That could be anything.
I agree. All right. I'm going to move on to the next person because I had to be waiting. But thank you for coming up, Dylan.
No worries. Bye.
Mm-hmm. All right, there's 158 of you in here. Can I get to 50k likes, please? Kat, sure you don't exist, if that makes you happy. Very odd bio, 900 plus kids in my basement. Very interesting. Anyways, there's 150 odd people in there. We can get to 50k and then we can move on. If you do believe that trans women are women, please request the box. If you do believe that non-binary is real, if you do believe that trans women can be lesbians, please request. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Erilove, do we agree? Because it says you're my friend. Erilove, can you state whether or not you agree or disagree with the topic? Age check for who? Nobody's up here. You disagree? Okay, sure. I didn't know that.
Hello, mate.
Hi, what's up?
Hello. I'm good. I disagree with you in the concept that non-binary isn't real. I believe non-binary is real.
Sure. What is non-binary? What is the concept of non-binary referring to?
Yeah, the concept is not associating. When we say the binary, we're talking about a man and a woman. Okay? The obvious stereotypical male, the obvious stereotypical female. If you're outside of that...
Hold on, pause. There's a problem, right? So stereotypes, gender stereotypes are not binary. There isn't one way to be masculine. There isn't one way to be feminine. It's a spectrum. Therefore, this isn't a binary.
Yeah. Think of it this way. Do you know the difference between masculinity and femininity?
masculinity would be the roles, behaviors, traits typically associated with men, and femininity would be the roles, behaviors, traits typically
Pres-
associated with women.
Precisely. I'm talking about those typically associated traits. When I say
But those
masculinity and
differ,
femininity.
those differ from society to society and person to person. There is no unanimous
Gen-
understanding of femininity.
generally speaking, there are universal male traits and universal
You
female
can't
traits.
say generally there's
Cross-cultural.
universal when there's no universal male traits like masculine traits. That's incorrect.
Tell me any culture in the world, any civilization that has reversed femininity and masculinity.
Right. So
From
in
your
Scotland, do you know
Yeah.
where Scotland is? Do you know what men wear? It's considered masculine to wear in Scotland.
The dress.
I believe it's called a kilt or a skill. I can't remember what it's called.
Kilt, yeah. That kilt. I'm not
That's
talking about the way you dress.
That's considered masculine, but that's what we're talking about. If we're talking about masculinity and femininity,
That's not what I'm talking about. That's a cultural construct. That's a dress.
that's what. Wait,
That's
hold on.
what we wear.
What do you think? Hold on a second. What do you think gender stereotypes come from? They're culturally significant.
No,
It's
I'm
the
not talking
cultures
about
ascribe-
traits.
The cultures, all gender stereotypes are in relation to some sort of culture, one way or the other.
No. I'm talking about personality traits, behaviors,
Well,
how you see the
personality-
world.
Your personality has nothing to
Temperament.
do. Hold on a second. Your personality has nothing to do with whether or not you're a man or a woman.
100% it does. Do you think
No, it
dominance
doesn't.
games? Let me make
Pardon
my
me?
case then. Can I make my case?
You've been trying to, but you're not doing so well so far. But go ahead.
I've been interrupted constantly. If you let me, I can make my case. So here is what I believe. Dominance stance, dominance power place, that's a male trait. Assertiveness, that's a male trait. Leadership
not.
roles, that's a male trait. Generally speaking, universally speaking. Okay, that's a male trait, whether you like it
Generally
or not.
and universally are not the same thing. I'm going to keep interrupting you because you're generally would imply that there is something that is outside of this general view, right? Universally would refer to
Yes, cross-culturally. Every culture. You don't agree? Dominance games among men, status games,
No,
peacocking,
there are-
showing off.
women can also be dominant. That's not true.
Dominance
You're-
games are played by men. Well, how do they play dominance games, females? Tell me.
Can females play football?
That's not games. I'm saying dominance game meaning status games. The way you show off your cars, the way you
Status games,
present
okay.
your bodybuilding.
Well, yeah,
status,
women can do that. Women can show off their flashy cars
How
all the
exactly?
time.
No. How exactly? Are they not materialistic like men?
There are materialistic women, yes.
No. They don't show it by status, by buying Bugattis and private jets.
Yes, they do.
Give me an example.
Would you say that Beyonce would be considered materialistic? She has, or Cardi B. Cardi B shows off her Lamborghini truck and her Rolls Royce all the time.
They show their status by the men they are with. Because she is with Offset, because she is with Jay-Z, higher level men, higher status men than them. That's how they gain respect.
This is just a sexist view. You're just sexist. You just think that men have.
I don't think you understand male and female dynamics. That's your problem, man.
I understand male and female dynamics. I'm just saying to you that there isn't one way to be masculine and there isn't one way to be feminine.
We're talking about the biologically instantiated, cross-cultural, universally accepted traits of masculinity and traits of femininity.
There is no, and that's where you're incorrect. There will never be, and there is none to date. There is no universally understood. Stop.
You're wrong.
Stop.
You're wrong.
Okay, I'm going to mute you because you're just being a cocky little bitch. There is no universal understanding of masculinity or femininity.
Listen to your comment.
There literally is none.
Can I make my case? Where do you think masculinity and femininity comes from?
Keep saying, I established that they derive from the sexes, but they can be used interchangeably. There is no mutual exclusion when it comes to masculinity and femininity for men and women.
That's the key point. We have to look at the center, not the fringe. You have to understand this. When we talk about natural traits, you have to talk about the center and the fringe, meaning the exception and the rule. If we see the majority of human history, the majority of human civilizations, they have a clear-cut understanding of what a woman is, what a man is, what masculinity is, what femininity is.
That's based upon sex.
that tribe or this fringe or that fringe. I'm talking about majority, the center. We
You'd be
have a
referencing
clear
Western
understanding.
society. You'd be referencing Western
What?
society. Western society, I would agree, for the most part, does have an understanding. But
Would you say the majority of the world is religious, in your opinion?
I don't know. I am not educated enough to make the claim.
You can make the sociological study. It's 85% of the world. Let's say
85%?
2.8 billion Christians, 1.6 billion Muslims, 1 billion Hindus. You can say the majority are religious. You disagree?
I cannot. You made the positive claim. I can't substantiate the claim that you made. I'm going to take your word
Isn't
for
it
it.
obvious that the majority, Africa, Asia, Russia, India, all of them are religious? South America.
I have never
You
done
don't think
religious
so?
studies. No.
You think atheists are larger than religious people? Okay.
I
So
didn't say
here,
that atheists were larger. I just said I don't know. Please don't pull a straw man fallacy.
as a matter of fact, religious people are larger than atheist people. So according to
I'm taking
religion,
your word. I'm taking your word for it. Okay.
okay, in religion, there is a clear cut distinction between what a man is, what a woman is, what a femininity is, what a masculinity is. Everything is derived down to the religion, and the religious is derived down to the biology. Do you understand? Everything is in harmony. We understand alignment. We understand, okay, correlation and causation. So the correlation and causation is first comes the biology, and out of that biology, we created stories, religious stories, mythologies. Out of those mythologies and stories, we created culture. Out of that culture, we have those social constructs that you're talking about. So everything is dumbed down to the biology. Your hormones, your body type, your structures, your leadership,
Okay.
temperament, all of that.
So how does this correlate to non-binary?
Wonderful. So my original claim was non-binary exists. How does it correlate? If we have clear understanding of what masculinity is and what femininity is, the people who land outside of that binary, we call them non-binary.
Masculinity and
You understand?
femininity is not a binary. That's what I'm saying to you. It's not a binary.
It's
The
a
binary-
framework.
No, it's not. The binary that is referenced for the non-binary identity is the sex binary, not masculinity and femininity.
I'm not
That's
talking
incorrect.
about sex binary. I'm talking about gender binary.
I'm going to mute you again because it's like you don't listen. I'm saying to you, stop
Or-
unmuting when I mute you. If I mute you, stay muted. Stop.
You're slow, man.
If I
Super
say
slow.
to you, okay, sure. So
Take
if I
me
say
out.
to you,
You
if I
are a
say to
slow individual.
if I
Do you
say to
disagree?
stop talking. If I say to you that the masculinity and femininity isn't a binary, right? It's not a binary, it's a spectrum, right? There is no binary of masculinity and femininity, right?
That spectrum starts and ends with masculinity and femininity. That's why I said framework.
I just
A and B
said
are the
that
extremes.
the masculinity and femininity is not a binary. The non-binary identity references the sex binary. It doesn't reference masculinity and femininity. It references the binary nature of sex.
Think of it this way. Let me simplify it for you. There is a tall guy and there is a short guy, and there are hundreds of people between them. But the tall guy and the short guy give us the perspective. It starts here, it ends here. Anybody
Sure.
can be in between. You understand? So I'm setting the framework, the context.
Anyone can be in between. Hold on. If anyone can be in between, it's not a binary.
This is
It's not
super
a
sad.
binary. Stop. If you're not
Let
listening,
me make my point.
if it is
Okay, you're gonna interrupt me. Is that how you win debate? You stupid fuck.
a bimodal spectrum and the binary
You can't-
are mutually
you can't write the bimodal
mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive. They're
So
mutually exclusive.
let me continue. Framework. There is A, there is B. The spectrum is between A and B. I'm talking about A
If
and
it's
B.
a spectrum, it's not a
masculinity-
binary. If it's a spectrum, it's not a binary. It's mutually exclusive. A spectrum and a binary are mutually exclusive.
Let me define it, okay?
Oh my goodness! Do you not realize that you cannot make a statement about a binary if immediately your statement, if your
boring. Are you an
premise,
honest individual?
if your
Is this
premise,
how you talk?
okay, I'm just going to remove you. If you have a spectrum A spectrum and a binary are mutually exclusive. You cannot have a binary and a spectrum simultaneously within the same concept, right? So masculinity and femininity are not a binary. It's a spectrum. Differs from place to place, society to society, culture to culture, right? Therefore, a person disassociating from either masculinity or femininity is not non-binary. The binary that is referenced for the non-binary identity refers to sex, the binary of sex, not masculinity and femininity. The moment you reference a spectrum, you have completely disqualified the argument of non-binary. A binary is not a spectrum. Binary code is either 0 or 1, nothing in between, right? So you literally just need to stop because you're not making any sense. And if the binary is male and female, you cannot exclude yourself from male and female. Therefore, non-binary does not exist. So my people are so stupid. Anyways, let us see here. Looking through the guest requests, Ashley Hodges. Interesting. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, what would you like to say on the topic?
About trans women not being women.
Are you a trans woman?
I am a trans woman. My pronouns are she, her.
Great. What would you like to say on the topic?
Okay, have you ever heard of Klinefelter syndrome?
I have Klinefelter syndrome.
You have Klinefelter syndrome? So do I.
Yes,
so
I
you
do.
know that Klinefelter syndrome is the chromosomes of X, X, and Y.
XXY. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And you obviously know about like intersex and everything that's kind of like mumbled jumbled with sex, correct?
Not mumble jumble, they're either male or female. Klinefelter's only affects the male sex.
Well, no, because intersex, you're like between male and female.
No, you're not between male and female. That's incorrect.
No, you are, because let's say someone's born physically a girl. All their life they've learned they're a girl. However, they have testes. What would you consider then?
That's androgen insensitivity syndrome, right? And they're considered female, right? Because the testes are undescended, right? And the person has full phenotypically female structures, right? So the testes are not developed properly, right? Therefore, the person is female, right? So for those with both structures, there's always going to be a primary reproductive pathway because gonads develop in a mutually antagonistic fashion. Do you know what mutual antagonism is?
Kind of.
Tell me what mutual antagonism is.
I'm guessing it's something to do with like they're both the same.
They're not the same.
Are they both
that's not what
similar?
that is. Mutual antagonism means that when one begins to develop, it inhibits the other, right? So when you talk about the development of gonads, right? When testes begin to develop, right, it secretes anti-Müllerian hormone. So the uterus, the fallopian tubes, and ovarian tissue stop developing. And the same thing occurs in the inverse. If Müllerian structures, which is female structures, begin to develop, then it ceases the development of testes. That's why those with androgen insensitivity syndrome, right, have undescended testes, right? Because the Müllerian structures, right, cease the development of Wolffian structures. Therefore, the person is female.
Okay. So, say for example, it's the other way around and it's a man with ovaries or any sort of like female, not ovaries, sorry, obviously men can have ovaries, but any sort of intersex qualities of a man having of a female.
Right. So over-testicular disorder of sexual development, it affects both sexes, right? And as I've said before, because gonads develop in a mutually antagonistic fashion, right, the person will always have one primary reproductive pathway which functions. Nobody in history has been able to both get pregnant and impregnate. It's never happened.
Yes.
Right? And so for that reason, intersex people are dichotomized as either male or female.
Okay, so you would consider someone who is intersex, has been feeling like a male, but they are female, and they realize they have testes and they're of intersex qualities as a female.
Right, because all the
if they feel male,
Hold on. All the conditions are your sex is not chosen. By the way, I think that this is a massive misconception when it comes to intersex people. Intersex people don't choose their sex. Let's
No,
just make
yeah, I
that
know.
abundantly clear, right? So the person feeling this way, right? So, for instance, somebody with Klinefelter, such as myself, right, or yourself as well, you wouldn't say, "Oh, I have two X chromosomes and I feel like a woman, therefore I am one," simply because I possess the qualities. No, because the condition only affects males, right? So
Yeah.
this is where it applies for every single intersex condition. If the person is female, right, with androgen insensitivity syndrome, the person remains female, whether or not they identify that way, right? It's a female condition. So it's irrelevant. Your feeling of your sex is irrelevant. Sex is objective. It develops independently of the mind. Therefore, it's irrelevant. Like your gender identity is irrelevant to your sex. It doesn't negate it at all.
Okay. Yeah, so what I want to say is I have obviously Klinefelter syndrome. I grew up with very feminine traits. I very, very, very low testosterone.
Myself as well.
When I started estrogen, I didn't need any blockers because my testosterone was so low. And I grew up basically even presenting as a boy, being mistaken for a female by society. So as that became objective, like as it became more clear, I realized I felt more comfortable being a female. And as a girl, so I decided to transition. Not any sort of way between the ages of 11 to what I am now was I ever called a male in public, even when I was presenting as a male. I was always called, by people who did not know me, they would call me a girl.
Sure. So what exactly does this prove?
This proves that although people think, oh yeah, trans women aren't women, society has always viewed me as a female, has always viewed me as a girl.
But
no matter what. Going through yes, but
are you female?
Going through airports, I was told to go to the female staff member as I was looking female, even though I told them I was male at the time.
Right,
Ashley.
Ashley, what I need you to realize is that people's perception of your sex doesn't negate it. So if you're perceived as a female due to medical intervention that you may have chosen to pursue, right, this doesn't negate your sex. You're still a male. So being perceived as female.
What I'm trying to say is, although I am biologically male, correct, I don't disagree with you on that. I realized biology and everything. Right. What I'm trying to say is that although I was biologically male, I was still perceived by society. We don't 100% live by science. We don't live day to day. Someone doesn't come up and ask us, how is your brain permitting your emotions?
We literally do base it upon science. We do. Your literal, your identity. Hold on a second. I'm explaining to you why. Your identity of as a trans woman is contingent upon you being a male. You do understand that, right? Someone who is assigned female at birth cannot be a trans woman, right?
Someone who is assigned female at birth, what?
Cannot be a trans woman.
Yeah, because
exactly. So the trans identities are contingent upon sex, right?
No,
so,
yeah,
exactly.
Further proving my point, these identities, right, are contingent upon the sex to which you are. So in the inverse, a person who is assigned a male at birth cannot be a trans man, right? Because the whole point of being a trans man is that you're female and you're trying to appear male. That's the whole point in form of identity or expression. So,
but the thing is, we don't live by science. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Although science, it plays an important part in obviously our daily lives, we don't live by it. We don't structurally talk to people in scientific facts.
Yeah, correct? We don't. I agree, but this is going to be irrelevant yet again. It's a non sequitur because we are having a conversation about whether or not trans women are women.
But that's
so it is relevant.
That's what I'm trying to say is you keep saying about the science of it being like, oh well, a woman is an adult female.
That's what determines it. It's deterministically biological. That's what gender and sex are deterministically biological.
So obviously that sentence you said earlier on about a woman being an adult female human. You live by that, yes?
Correct.
Okay, what was the source of that? Was that Oxford Dictionary?
I mean, that's one of the definitions, but I grew up
Yep, okay.
knowing a woman to be a female.
Yep. Oxford Dictionary has also displayed about, obviously, several things about the trans identity and how the trans identity works in the brain.
Such as?
Such as how a trans person's brain is more aligned to the gender they identify rather than the sex they were born with.
The Oxford Dictionary doesn't cite studies on neurology. That's incorrect.
But what I'm trying to say is that those are two completely different things. But Oxford Dictionaries came out about gender, about obviously how gender and sex are different, and these studies, obviously created by different companies, are true. They're facts. A trans person's brain is more similar to the gender they identify with than the sex they were born.
Right, but you do understand that that's dependent upon sexual dimorphism, correct? Which is in relation to sex.
But
right.
if a trans woman's brain's similar more to a woman's brain than a male's brain, that's just, yeah.
No, so neurology isn't like an essential or a deterministic factor of sex. Therefore, it would be irrelevant to my position. It's irrelevant, right? Because neurology.
But you talk about science.
Sex.
What's the difference between neurology and sexual chromosomes?
Neurology references the brain. Neurology references the brain. When we're talking about.
Yes, I know neurology references the brain, but they're both science, correct?
They're both. I agree with you. I agree with you. They're both science, right? But there's two issues with this, right? You do understand that in the area of the brain that we reference for gender identity is the bed nucleus of the stria terminalis. You know where that is?
No, I don't.
It's in the hypothalamus, right?
Okay.
And that area of the brain, when we do studies on them, they're done post-mortem. Do you know what post-mortem is?
It means dead.
Great. So we can't determine this until the person is dead. Serves no purpose to us as living human beings at all.
Okay. Fair enough.
Exactly.
But so I still stand by my point on, obviously, the whole trans women aren't women, the brain, the research about the brain, and the intersex and Klinefelter syndrome. That was my point.
Intersex doesn't disprove it. But I mean, if you want to run, then that's fine. Intersex literally does not prove anything that you said. And I just explained to you how the brain studies are irrelevant. Okay, Chris, I'm going to invite you up because you just monger in the comments. I don't quite understand why people are like this. You guys remain in the comments and then you don't say anything. And Chris, okay, great, he's here. Hi, Chris.
Hold on, just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm back. Hi.
Hi. So, what are the DTI scans that I'm omitting?
Can you repeat that? Sorry again.
What are the DTI scans that I'm omitting? Because you said it in the comments.
Yeah. So basically, let's go to the core of it. You're basically saying that there's no difference in the brain.
I never said that. Strawman fallacy already. I never said that.
That's how it sounded to me, right?
Well, your interpretation is incorrect. Try again.
Okay, then let me rephrase my question, or let me ask what is the why we might have a different opinion here. So obviously there's physical differences, but would you also agree that there's behavioral differences that is not based on nurture, but basically behavior based on hormones and things like that?
Sure, I would agree. For both of the sexes.
So then you would agree that, when, for example, we know that, for example, trans women have some brain similarities with, which is more closer, for example, to females than to males, that this will impact their behavior, right?
Such as?
Well, typical female or typical feminine behavior, right? Things we would consider more feminine behavior or...
Can gay men also exhibit these behaviors?
Come again, sorry?
Can gay men also exhibit these behaviors?
Well, it depends, right? That depends.
On what?
So well, the thing is, I don't know whether or not there are structural differences in gay men brains versus non-gay men, for example. But what I'm looking right now is brains of trans women compared to cis men brains, right? And there they have clearly made scans where they saw differences in gray matter, differences in white matter. So
gray matter, white matter, cortical thickness have nothing to do with gender identity, so it's irrelevant.
Well, that's the point. It does, because if it impacts the behavior, right? So everything that's psychology is, of course, first of all, a different viewpoint, but in the end, every psychological behavior has some chemical brain stuff under the hood, right? It's all goes down to stuff in our brain, right? And when we know there's differences in brain among males and so cis men and trans women, to be more correct, then we know that when we know there's a physical difference and we can prove that there's behavior difference, then it makes sense that there's a connection to it, right?
Not necessarily, because like I said, my position rests upon sex, right? Because the concept of the trans identities, as I had in the previous conversation with the last guest, it is contingent upon the sex to which you are and your gender identity in conjunction to your sex. Am I correct?
I'm not sure what is the question here.
The question is, are the trans identities predicated upon sex? Because what you just said, it was irrelevant to my position. You're just simply saying that there are neuroanatomical structures that we can link to the behavior of trans people or people in general. That has nothing to do. It's a non sequitur to my claim.
Well, basically, so let's say you have a male, right? But that male is having an under-masculinized brain, right? That brain tells the person, you're female, right? So that's basically the whole root of why basically people say trans women are women.
This is just neurosexism. That's all you're spouting right now.
Why is it neurosexism?
It's the same exact theory that told us that males were more intelligent inherently because they had 10% larger brains. It's the same theory.
No, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing, because
it's quite literally the same thing. You're saying that structures in the brain, it results in either male or female behavior strictly, and that's just not true.
That's not what I said. Sorry, that's not what I said. I said that there is that's kind of a straw man, because that's literally not what I said. I said that when you have a male that has, and also I did not do any qualification, so please don't put that in my mouth. I didn't make any qualifying or quality statement. I just said you have a male, right? Mm-hmm. And that male would have an under-masculinized brain, right? So,
can you tell me what an under-masculinized brain looks like?
Well, because basically it means, we all know, I think that's what science clearly says, that in the beginning we start as female, right? And then
we don't. We have bipotential gonads. We do not start off as female. No.
Well, I think science clearly says that, but you need actually the Y chromosome as a trigger to turn you into a male.
No, that's not true. So we have bipotential gonads before we undergo gonadal differentiation at 8 weeks of pregnancy.
But the TDF is basically a switch that makes...
The testes determining factor is on the Y chromosome, right? I agree, but we have bipotential gonads. We don't start out female.
In the beginning, of course, human could go both directions, but it's basically TDF that says, well, that's why the terminology in science usually is that
that's incorrect.
You will turn into a male.
Nope. Your bipotential gonads, look it up, is what we have before we undergo gonadal differentiation at 8 weeks.
Okay, right. This is kind of semantics now. In the end,
it's not semantics. You're making an incorrect claim that we start out as female.
That's what you said. I disagree with that one. We can look up the science on that one.
Then prove to me. So if you know what bipotential gonads are, then you would know that you don't start out as female.
I'm giving you that credit because it's not about my point, okay? I disagree with that. We can follow up on that one. I can share the literature that says we're basically turning into males based on the TDF. I give you the credit. I'm saying, okay, I'm wrong here.
Developing male as a result.
I give you the credit. It's not about my argument. I agree with
Then
you.
why did you mention
I'm
it
wrong.
then? Why are you mentioning that we
Well-
start out as female if it's not crucial to your claim?
Well, because I wanted to make a point, right? I can come to this in a different way. So let's say once again, I'm born as a male, right? So I'm coming as a male, but then the brain is more feminine. Okay, do you acknowledge that this can happen?
You are yet to tell me what a masculinized and a feminized brain looks like.
Well, there's science that shows, depending on, there's hormone impact, there's genetic impact that shows your brain can have going either a more feminine or masculine direction. So,
What are the structures? What are the structures and what?
For example, let me show you. So, for example, what they have did, that's why I mentioned DTI scans, right? Because they can, it's kind of different type of MRI scans. I guess you know what I mean. They basically have seen that, especially on gray and white matter structure, how it's distributed in the brain, they have seen that there are similarities among trans women and females compared to the male control group. So they had a male control group, which is cis, compared it with trans women, and they found that actually the white matter distribution is more closer to the female control group than to the male. And that basically shows that there is a reason, even though you're born male, you might have a feminine brain, right?
Can I ask you a question? How does white and gray matter affect behavior?
Very good question, but we can come to this in a second. But would you first of all...
you need to answer that because your claim was that it results in behavior. The structures would
I'm coming to this, but I just
behavior,
want to first make sure. How would you then... Because I would ask a counter question then here, when you see that we on a physical level now first, but when you see already on a physical level, right, that the physical structure of a trans woman brain is closer to a female brain, would you think that it's a logical conclusion that there might be difference? Regarding now we come to this in a second, but just looking at the physical differences, wouldn't you agree that it makes sense to follow up here in the perspective of that there might be a similarity across trans women's brains and female brains when they show...
Not necessarily, no. Not necessarily, because we can also identify this for gay men, and we don't call them women.
So you basically say these scans that show that there is this feminine
There's also similarity in gay men to women, yes.
And it's the same. The scan,
cortical thickness in white and gray matter, yes.
Okay, but that's quite interesting because then it shows that there might be some similarities between trans women and gay men in some aspects, right?
Trans women are men, so. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I just said it makes sense then that there might be similarities across gay men and trans women, right?
Sure.
In the brain, right?
Similarities, sure, if you wanted to argue that, but yet again, you're yet to show me how white and gray matter affects behavior, because this is how we would acknowledge, right? This is how we would.
Okay, I get your point. I just wanted to make sure that we agree that there is this physical
similarities. Difference. Yes, but how does it affect behavior?
Okay, then until here, this is the only thing I wanted to clarify because. The next level would be that my question would be, we know there's females and there's males, and we know there are some physical differences in the brain. Would you say now, looking at purely cis women and cis men who have the differences in the brain, would you agree that they have different behavior which is not nurture-based?
I don't know what that question means.
So I'm basically asking that, would you agree that there is different behavior based on sex or gender, regardless of the environment, regardless of, sociological impact? There's based on...
No, I don't. I know I can't say that because you're yet to tell me. Because remember, you're the one making the positive claim. You're the one making the claim that these structures cause them to behave in a particular manner. Right, so you need to substantiate how these structures affect behavior. in that manner in order for me to agree to that, and you're yet to do so.
Okay, I think what science has shown is that especially hormones like testosterone.
What are the structures? I asked you for structural references.
Reference
structures.
Can you let me please finish? So
I'm not talking about hormones. I'm talking about structures. You keep going back to hormones.
The thing is, the structures we're talking about, it's also shown by science that these structures are a result of hormone impact.
Sure, but I'm not asking you for the hormones at the moment. I'm asking you to tell me what the structures are and how they are structurally different.
I just told you the structure of the brain, the difference in the structure of the brain.
What area of the brain? You're not listening. You haven't answered the question.
Well, I just told you, right?
No, you didn't.
What do you want to know?
What area of the brain is going to be affecting behavior, right? That would either lead either male or female. That's what I'm asking you.
Oh, that
not the hormones that affected.
Mm-hmm. So
the hormones that affected. What are the structures? What are the differences in structure?
Okay, right? Why? So you basically, just to understand your question, you're basically saying the structure differences doesn't automatically lead to different behavior because it needs to be the differences in the structure need to be parts in the brain that actually impact behavior. Is that what your question is going to?
No, you're the one who made a positive claim. You said that the behaviors are going to be as a result of these neuroanatomical structures, right? Right, that are going to be impacted by hormones. I'm just asking you to name the structures and how they are different in either males or females. That's all I'm asking you to provide.
Why does the location matter?
It does matter because you're saying that your entire claim rests upon structures neuroanatomically affecting a person's behavior, right?
But that's what I just said, right?
Exactly. So what are the structures?
Yeah, but I just said what you basically asking is you want to know what specific area in the brain is causing behavior. Because
yes. What is it?
Because just to understand, you're basically saying because there might be structural differences, but you basically want to know if these structural differences are actually relevant to behavior because there might be structural differences which are irrelevant for behavior, right? Is that the question?
No. Oh my God, stop. What are the structures according to your positive claim? According to the positive claim that neuroanatomical structure affects behavior in trans men and trans women and cis men and cis women.
Yeah, and I'm saying, why is that mattering when we know?
Because it's the basis of your claim. You're saying that these structures are different. You said
yes.
that science, and I will do a poll to make sure that everybody heard Alex's comments. Did he not say that that neuroscience shows that there's a similarity in structure to the two control groups for either for trans women to women? Did he not say that?
I said that. I agree.
Great. So what are the structures? It's a pertinent question.
It's areas of the brain they have seen which are similar across.
Such as what?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying. So
what area of the brain are yet to name? The area of the brain you're dancing around the question.
So I'm basically asking you. Are you basically asking me now?
I'm asking you to name the structures. It's a very simple question.
Yeah,
what are the structures? What are the structures? You just said areas of the brain.
You're dodging in my argument, and you know why? You know why
you're not dodging. You're literally just.
Can I explain why you're doing it? I tell you why you are dodging my argument. Because you're basically saying I need to tell you what specific area in the brain.
You do. Because you said that. Because your claim is that neuroscience. No, because you're just repeating yourself. You said that neuroscience shows or indicates that there are structures within the brain that would show similarity in people who are transgender versus people who are men and women.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. And I'm saying to you, exactly. So what? Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it is pertinent to ask what are these structures and what are the differences between males and females that would lead to this conclusion? What are they? If you don't know, say you don't know because you're running in circles now.
I think
what are the structures?
Can I please now answer to this one?
Answer, but don't answer with a question. Answer with an answer.
I answer because I think you're basically. I think the reason. Let me say it this way. When you're asking me for this area, you're basically asking what structure, right? Because you want to basically ask me, and actually that's the question. Right? Why is this relevant for behavior? That's what you're asking.
Because that's your claim, yes. Because you're claiming that it's relevant to behavior.
Understood.
So, what
And
are
my
the,
point
so
here
answer
is,
it. So answer the question.
Yeah, I answer because my answer here
What
is
is the name
and
of the structure? If you're not going to give me the name of the structure, I'm moving on. Because now this is going in circles.
Okay, let's do it this way. I look up the structure and come back. Is that okay?
So you didn't know the entire time, and you didn't know what the structures were.
I think it's irrelevant because
You didn't know.
Can I ask you one final question? Can I ask you?
You didn't know. This is embarrassing for you. You didn't know what the structures were, and it was completely relevant.
But can I ask you one final question, please?
If you say to no, stop. If I say to you, there are certain areas of the testicle region that help to produce sperm, right? And these are going to be different in this category and that category. And I say to you, what area of the scrotum are we talking about? And you go, why is that relevant? Evidently, it's relevant. You're saying to me that on the basis of the structure of these two things, that there's going to be result X and result Y, right? Therefore, if I ask you, what are the structures? It's pertinent. The same thing applies for the neurological argument. You said that neuroscience is indicative of the idea that trans women and trans men have similarities in comparison to neuroanatomical structure to men and women.
Yeah,
right?
we can
structure, the structure affects these people's behaviors, right? The way that they conduct themselves and the way that they exhibit their behaviors, right?
Then let's
so then when I ask you, what are the structures? It's a pertinent question. So all you could have said from the beginning was, I don't know, let me go look it up.
But I can, you know what? It doesn't make it's still not relevant for my argument because
it is because you're saying that there are certain structures. What are the structures?
Let's assume you're right, okay? And those structures or those differences are not impacting that specific gender.
I already know that they don't. I'm just waiting for you to figure it out.
Say they don't. Okay, then
so
my follow-up question here would be...
So I already know what I'm talking about. You evidently don't. So go and look it up. Because I already know that it doesn't. I asked you to see if you were tracking and you're not.
I can still make my point, because...
No, hold on. You just go and look. Because you still don't know the structures and I'm still waiting for you to answer my question. Go and find it.
I acknowledge already. I acknowledge that that doesn't cause this...
Go and find it. It
doesn't make sense. I don't need it. I don't need it to prove my point. I can do it differently.
You literally do, because you're saying that there's difference in structures that lead to result X and result Y. I'm asking you, what are the differences in the structures? What is the name of the structures, right? And how they affect the results.
I acknowledge that already. I give you that credit.
Name the structures.
I agree to you. I want to make another argument. Can I
name the structures? I don't want to hear anything else until you name the structures, because now you're just...
No structures, no differences. I acknowledge you. I totally agree with you on that.
So you concede that there are no differences?
Sorry?
Do you concede that there are no differences?
In behavior, I agree, give you that credit.
Exactly. So that means that your entire claim that there are
no. Can I make the second point?
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Your entire claim that there are structural differences resulting in trans women behaving this way or this manner, right, in terms of similarities in neuroanatomical structure, your claim was completely incorrect then, because you can't substantiate it.
I acknowledge that, but I still have another point here. So I acknowledge that, and I need to do the research here to why actually the structures might be different. I agree to that. Let's skip on that. I still have another follow-up on this one. So let's assume, there is no the structural differences, or the structural differences do not impact behavior. Okay. Do you in general agree that there is behavior differences between men and women which is not impacted by society? Do you agree to that one?
I don't know. I can't make a positive claim on that. I believe that majority of our behaviors in terms of stereotypical traits are influenced.
Majority, yes, but do you think there's a minority behavior that's based on...
It's possible. I'm not going to give you an absolute yes or no on that one.
It's possible, you say.
It's possible.
So then here the studies, and here I can also share the studies clearly show that there is behavior differences based at least, and that's kind of a sure thing, based at least on hormones like testosterone.
Sure. That's how we identify male pattern behavior.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. We could call it male pattern behavior. So that's based on testosterone. Okay. Right. So, for example, maybe other aspects as well. So my basically point here would be, if you then have a person that has those different these differences in the brain, regardless of the structures, right? But we know that those hormones we just talked about, testosterone, which we know impact behavior, right? And we know this hormone, testosterone, is also a big impact factor for these structure differences of the brains.
Are you referring to inherent characteristics? Characteristics developed inherently? Because you know that people can't take testosterone, right?
No, I mean, of course, you can take hormones.
Right, so you could also say that the hormones that they take throughout their life could also affect this, correct?
Well,
logically sound to say
that's
that.
a good point. That's a good question. If post-birth this can still happen, probably, I don't know, right?
Okay.
But we know that pre-birth it's clearly impacting, right? So we know pre-birth hormones impacting brain development, right?
I'm not development of neuroanatomical structure.
Well, at least that, when these, so when we always talk now about people before hormone treatment, right? So we can ignore right now when there has been already an HRT treatment or something like that. So we only look at pre-treatment, and we know that people born, let's say as a trans woman, pre-treatment, that's where we talked about these brain differences. And we know that the development of their brain happened pre-birth based on hormone impact. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, sure. Well, I mean, like I said, this is you keep stating non sequitur because I already explained to you that neurology, neuroanatomical structure is not like an essential or a deterministic characteristic of sex. So.
Well, that's where okay, but then I would ask a question: when you have when we know that hormones like testosterone impact our behavior, and we know that hormones can impact our brain development.
Okay, hold on one minute. Somebody just sent some money going to kick you because I don't know. They're bored, I guess.
Okay, then I'm leaving. But anyways, it was interesting talking to you.
Okay, no problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh my God, you guys are so evil. Okay, let's move on to the next guest. 1 minute, I'm plugging in my phone. Great. You guys can decide whether or not that was a W for the guest or not. I don't even know anymore. Who wants up? Karis. Okay, great. Oh, I'm sorry, Karis. Maybe re-request because you were there and it disconnected you. Lexi Lynn. Okay. Can you please signify whether or not you agree with the... Okay, Ashton, I'm going to invite you up. Okay, so you're just not going to come up into the box. Very interesting. Okay, great. Let's see. I don't see that person back up in the guest request. Oh, Ashton is here. Great. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Great. What would you like to say on the topic? You had a lot to say in the comments.
Yes. Well, trans women are women, like trans men are men. Non-binary is real and very valid, and trans women can be lesbian.
Can you tell me what a woman is?
Does that matter? Trans women are women.
What is a woman?
Men. Wait, can I ask you a question? Sorry. Can I ask you
What is a woman? That's what I asked you.
Can I ask you a question?
Can you answer mine? What is a woman?
Oh, it's too early for this shit. Sorry, I apologise. It's like 6 a.m. for me. I'm tired.
Okay, can you tell me what a woman is?
Someone that identifies as a woman.
It's circular reasoning, not a sufficient definition.
Okay, then what is a woman to you? How would you?
An adult human female.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Too tired.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I'm tired. It's very early for me from where I am, so
Okay.
just a bit stressed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all we had today was trans women are women, non-binary is very real and very
But
valid.
you haven't told us what a
And
woman is yet.
trans women are trans women can be
You
lesbians.
haven't told us what a woman is yet though.
Well, I'm gonna leave because it's 6 a.m. and I got to sleep
Oh, so you don't have an answer? Okay.
because I have something to do today that's very important.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I hope everyone has a very good evening, night, morning.
Yeah. Okay. That's just embarrassing. Next guest, guys, let's get up to 70k likes, please. Hi, loves aloof.
Hello.
Hi, what would
Okay,
you like to say on the topic?
so I would like to talk about the non-binary argument.
Sure.
Basically, so you know that gender is kind of like a social construct, if that makes sense.
It's
So
deterministically biological unless sociotypically sociological. Sure.
yeah, so gender is a social construct. Non-binary isn't a real sex, obviously, but in my
Okay.
opinion, non-binary is, real in a gender, like a
What?
social gender construct.
Okay. What is a binary to which non-binary people disassociate from?
They don't, so non-binary people,
Mm-hmm.
they basically, they don't feel connected to being male or female, or at
That's
least
sex.
feeling in
That's
the
sex.
femininity or masculinity. At
Wait,
least
but
that's
hold
just
on.
my opinion.
Okay, that's fine, but masculinity and femininity aren't a binary. It's a spectrum, so there is no binary. In order to be not of the binary, there must be a binary.
So
Right. So
non-binary is kind of like, not feeling like you are
what
female
is a
or
binary?
male.
What is a binary system to which they disassociate from?
Now that one I don't know, and I'm up to learning if you are willing to teach me. But
I would say the binary that they claim to disassociate from is the sex binary, and you can't do that. You can't be neither male or female. Therefore, that's why I say it doesn't exist.
yes, I understand that. That makes sense. And at least personally, I think, you know how you feel. You're a male, am I correct?
Yes, I am.
So you know how you feel masculine?
No, I don't.
You don't? Do you
Not
feel
really.
more feminine, more
I would say
in
so.
between? All right.
I would say so, yes.
Okay, so you feel more feminine. So do you identify like gender-wise, not sex, gender-wise as male as well?
I don't identify as a male, I just am. It's not an identity issue.
Okay, I understand that. Okay. So people who are non-binary basically they kind of feel how you feel in a way, but like not really, it's kind of hard to explain, I'm sorry, but they kind of feel like they aren't really masculine or feminine at all.
But that's not what
in the gender
masculinity and
construct.
femininity. Hold on, but like I said, in order to be not of the binary, you need to establish a binary. You are yet to establish a binary. Masculinity and femininity is a spectrum. It's not a binary. A spectrum and a binary are mutually exclusive.
Okay. So that leads me to another question. So do you also believe that gender fluid is a thing?
No, it's not. It doesn't exist either.
So what do you mean that gender binary is hold on. What did you say? It was like a scale or?
No, I'm saying to you that masculinity and femininity is a spectrum.
Yeah, so you said it was a spectrum. So
masculinity and femininity isn't gender. That's gender expression.
Yeah, so gender expression is kind of like a social term, and
Right,
gender
it's
fluid
it's
is also a social construct.
right. So
It's not a
gender,
sex,
you cannot
obviously.
be like you cannot switch from boy to girl. If you have a different gender expression, that's not gender fluidity.
Yeah, sex-wise, you
Just
cannot. Obviously, sex-wise, you cannot.
right, and the genders are
go.
literally just male and female. That's
Yeah,
what the
that's
gender.
sex, though. That's
It's
biologically. But
it's
gender is
determined.
just
No,
basically.
gender would be determined by your biology.
It's
It's
basically.
deterministically
It's like you
biological.
said, a spectrum. It's basically.
No, that's not. No, I didn't say gender itself was a spectrum. I said masculinity and femininity, which are gender expression, are social constructs. But the genders themselves, male and female, are not societally constructed in that manner. You don't just become a male because you feel as though you are one, and you don't just become a female because you feel as though you are one. It's biologically deterministic.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, I understand your point of view. In my point of view, basically, like you said, masculinity and femininity is a spectrum, and some people are higher on that spectrum, some are lower.
Right, but
And
if it's a
that's where they feel
spectrum,
like
if it's a
would want to
spectrum, if
identify.
it's a spectrum, it's not a binary. That's what you have to understand. If it's a spectrum, a spectrum and a binary are mutually exclusive. Right.
Okay.
So therefore, it's not non-binary then. So even the wording is wrong. If you're describing masculinity and femininity, if you believe as though non-binary people, that is the basis of their identity, then it's not non-binary. The word binary is grammatically incorrect to reference that then.
That's understandable. I completely understand your point of view. And personally, I think, I'm a cis woman, so I'm not very, I don't really understand personally. I'm just going off by what people I know who are non-binary or transgender, basically, they describe it as not feeling like let's say, okay, sorry, let's say do you like wearing more masculine clothes or feminine clothes, if that makes sense? Do you like dressing, like your sex?
I just dress. I like sweatpants and a hoodie. I think those are gender neutral. So.
Okay, yeah. So some people would just like to, obviously not wear dresses and obviously not look too masculine, if that makes sense.
You're still a man or a woman, irrespective, because your sex still remains the same.
Yeah, sex-wise, yeah. Obviously,
exactly. So that's not it's not a binary then in terms of.
It's also like gender is also a social construct. That's what I've been saying.
Gender itself, I just explained to you, gender itself is not socially constructed. Gender roles, gender expression, and gender stereotypes are socially constructed, not gender.
Okay. All right. I think I'll leave it to the people who actually are transgender and non-binary to help me out here, but I do agree with your opinion. Well, I don't agree, but I respect your opinion, and I hope you have a good night.
You have a good night as well, darling.
Yep.
All right. This Karen's person wanted to come up.
Hello.
Hi. Are you opposition?
I'm not. I was wondering if I could agree with the claim. I was wondering if I could debate other people, but now I'm seeing you want opposition, so I will gladly leave if you would like.
Sure, if you want to give it a go, I'll give you a go. I'll let Cheeky bugger up. Let's see how well you do.
Hi.
You can go ahead.
Hi, Cheeky Burger.
Hi. I'm obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but I'm a trans woman. But what I kind of think of this thing is the argument is technically void because biologically you can never change your sex, and that's a fact. I'm not under 18. I've been on hormone blockers and I've only started hormones not long ago. I'm not under 18.
Can I ask how old you are?
18.
Okay.
So basically I want to kind of share some things with my perspective, because obviously everyone's entitled to their own opinion and you cannot change that for some people no matter what. But basically, what's different between you and me is how I have something called gender dysphoria. I can't really explain it because I'm not too educated in that field, so it's not right for me to do that. But obviously you're entitled to whatever stance, beliefs, whatever, and you don't have to view me as a female. But essentially what dysphoria is to me is that if what I think looked or felt male, I just do not like that. I feel so disconnected from it, hence the reason I transitioned, because I felt more of a connection to being like feminine stuff. And like when I was younger, I have pictures and stuff, I always used to dress up and do makeup and stuff, and you could call that being gay, but I wouldn't class it as that. But obviously, as I said, you're entitled to your own thing, and there's no exact way to define a female either, but it is just literally people's opinion, and obviously you can never ever change sex, and that is just a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But I would just like to ask, how do you view females? Because from what I've kind of thought is you just view them off of genitalia.
So female would be over denoting the sex that can produce large gametes, or over denoting the sex that can give birth. What a female is.
Right. She doesn't have an education in gender dysphoria. No, but I do experience it. Like, it's not a specific thing. It obviously varies in other people. Because do you know too much about gender dysphoria? Like, have people came up here and said anything about it?
Do I? Yeah, I know. I would say that I know enough to have the discussion.
Right,
I just understand gender dysphoria to be the distress caused as a result of the incongruence between a person's gender identity and their natal sex assigned at birth. That's what I understand it to be.
Because from all I've seen, and I've been here for quite a while now, is people coming up here and talking like, oh yeah, there's a chemical imbalance and stuff. And I'm not even going to comment on that because I do not know if that is true. It might not be or whatever, but I just know that day to day it's different because I am a biological male and that will never change. But I would never ever view myself as a man. Like, I just don't connect with that at all. I mean, you can think I'm delusional or whatever, but that's just my mindset and I can't really change it. Like,
I would consider you a trans woman.
Thank you, but could I just ask, could you ever pretend to be gay? Like, could you go out and have intercourse with a man?
No, I'm bisexual.
Well, sorry. Well, do you reckon a straight person could do that? Just like...
With you?
No, like, just having intercourse with a man.
I'm not straight, so I wouldn't know, to be honest.
Right, well, basically the point I'm trying to put up is you cannot pretend to be something you're not.
Okay,
And in a sense,
gotcha.
I wouldn't say I'm pretending to be a female as many people would perceive that. Because obviously, it's always what people go off of, because if you're going off of sex, then that's absolutely fine. You can just say I'm a male or whatever, that's your opinion. But if you're going off of gender, in my eyes, gender is based off of pronouns and like feminine things. Like, because I remember you were asking before, like, what do you think a female is? My opinion is that being a female is just being extremely feminine and going by the pronouns of she, her. I could be extremely wrong in that, but
I would say that you are, because what would you describe a masculine female or a masculine woman to be?
I don't really know, because I don't really know too much about being masculine. What I'd say about being masculine is maybe butch or whatever.
Right, so what you're explaining to us is that feminine and female are not synonyms, right? Because femininity can also apply to the male sex.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So I wouldn't say that would be a very accurate definition of what a female is, right? So I would suggest reviewing what you believe. I mean, I'm not really here to change people's minds. I'm just here to debate my position. Really,
I mean, obviously you can't just change people's minds and their opinions won't just change like that. And your opinion is more than valid and you're allowed to think that. But it's with some people, it's just kind of tickling it the wrong way because, as you said earlier, I'm a trans woman, and like from what I get, you kind of respected that, and obviously you're entitled to your own thing. Like, it's just so void if you're going to say like, no, that's not true, but it's your belief.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say, or?
Yeah, there's one last thing I do want to say though. There are quite a few people in the chat that when someone's saying they're trans or that they disagree with it, turn them to die.
Somebody told you to die?
There were quite a few people doing it, and it is because obviously being a trans woman is controversial to so many people and clashes with a lot of cultures.
Okay.
But there's a lot of dangerous...
I'll address it. Guys, there to be no death threats in the comments to anybody. We're not doing that here. Let's just make that clear. If anybody did make that statement, please, we're not doing that. I didn't see it. My mods haven't seen it. But if that did occur, please, no death threats. We don't do that. We're here to just debate. That's all we're here to do. I'm not here to insult people on the basis of their identity. That's not what I'm here to do.
Well, obviously, if you're going off of chromosomes, that's still technically biological. You can't change chromosomes. But anyway, as I was saying, it is very scary to be, especially a trans woman, because it's the only trans women that I see going under the public eye and people going against that. And there are literally trans women being murdered actively just because of a few stereotypes about the toilets and that sort of stuff.
Okay, I can see that. All right. I'm going to Carissa. I'm going to do a panel. God, I'm going to regret this. All right, friendlies and ops, please request. Let's see if we can maintain a panel debate tonight.
Don't know what the panel is, but
let's see. Hold on.
I do have a question for you. I don't know your name. I just see your username. So, Cheeky Bugger. So obviously you have stated that you are a trans from male to female, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Awesome. So would you ever go up to someone and just say, "Hi, I'm a female," or "I'm a woman"?
The thing is, I get a lot of it when my friends found out that I was trans that I passed extremely well, so I don't normally need to bring it up because from what I believe I do look female and people already perceive that.
Okay, so let's go ahead and venture out of you then. If someone were to and I am not against transitioning at all. Don't worry, like I completely support it, but I do have some boundaries. If someone were to transition and go up and say, "Hey, I am a female,"
yeah,
they have transitioned, and I don't mean like physical transition, mental transition. I don't care what age the transition. Do you understand like what I'm saying? Like, if
sorry, you cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Hold on. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Everybody's here. I'm not even sure. Can everybody mute, please? There's somebody in the background noise. Okay, great. So everybody is here. I guess you guys can. I don't even know what to do at this point. OW at the bottom right corner. What would you like to say on that topic?
I'm hard.
Okay. The person with a ninja sign, what would you like to say? I don't know what to use a ninja sign.
Okay. So I don't think this your question has an answer because first of all, you have to define what you think a woman is. And also, again, on this, I don't think you should attack them for being trans because they could I think people should be able to do whatever they want to do with their body. And
am I attacking anybody?
I'm not saying you're attacking. I'm just saying in general. I don't think you really should be hating on these people. And I think you honestly should just respect them, move on with your day because it doesn't really affect you.
Is that I don't know. That's directed at me because I
I know it's not directed at you. I'm just saying in general.
Oh, okay. So what would you like to say on the topic?
I'm saying that there isn't an answer to your question because of.
Isn't that question is that statement?
I know, but I'm saying
No
like there isn't
question
like.
mark.
You can't say trans women aren't women because of in someone else's point of view, a trans woman could be a woman, and in your point of view, they couldn't. I don't think if you said trans women aren't like females, then that would be true because they can't be females.
Well, no, but wait, hold on. But what if someone's perspective by female is different as well?
Then, in their perspective, then the question then a trans woman can't be a woman. But I'm saying in like my perspective, I don't care what someone else does with their body. So I'd say yeah, a trans woman is a woman.
I don't care what people do with their bodies. I just don't agree with the the idea that they are women because they're not women. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't really have anything to say. Alex D. Morrison. Is it Morrison? Morrison, yes. What would you like to say? I know that you requested a long time ago. Apologies for the long wait.
Oh, it's okay. I just wanted to say something really quick because I have to leave. I wanted to address the last statement about trans women cannot be lesbians. But first of all, I want to know if my testimony is valid.
I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know.
Well, it happened to me. Well, where to start? 4 years ago, I was dating a man I thought was the love of my life. And,
Are you a woman or a trans woman?
oh no, I'm a cis woman.
Okay, go ahead.
So then, okay, I lost the train of thought. Oh yeah. Like around the second year of dating, he started experiencing gender dysphoria. And he was very open about it. So I appreciated that. And then on the last year, like right about breaking up, he openly confessed he identified as a trans woman, she. And she also confessed to me and admitted that she was only attracted to women, not men. So she considered being heterosexual. And, well, I don't know. I mean, this is my testimony because it happened to me. And, well, it hasn't changed ever since. She is, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to adapt to the circumstances. She started hormonal replacement treatment and nothing changed. We are still in contact. We communicate very often and well, nothing's changed with her sexual orientation. So as to me, I don't agree with the statement because I consider her a lesbian and she considers herself a lesbian too.
No, the person is heterosexual. If they're interested in females and they're a male, then it's heterosexual, can't be a lesbian. You have to be female to be a lesbian.
Well, I guess then the term changed to lesbian. Because
no, lesbian has always been in reference to a female human being attracted to another female human being.
Like, sorry, I didn't hear.
Right, so
I didn't hear.
Sorry, your background noise is very very low. I don't know. Maybe drop and
Sounds like she's echoing.
Yes, drop and come back. Hold on. Just Alex, just drop and come back. So I hate panel debates, so it gets so boring. No, I just want to end the live. Okay.
One thing I just saw is someone saying they always ruin our lives referring to trans people. And I also quickly just wanted to ask a few questions.
Go ahead.
This is mainly directed towards you, Alex. Are you still with said person, by the way?
Excuse me?
Are you still with that partner you were talking about?
Yes.
So did you say they started to experience gender dysphoria?
Yes.
That's one thing I do not understand, as gender dysphoria isn't something that just appears and is actually there for the majority of your life,
Yes.
whether you're aware of it or not. So did your partner come to terms with it, or was it just something that happened virtually overnight?
It happened overnight during our relationship, but she did admit it that it was something she was dealing with for a very long time, maybe even childhood. So she went to therapy. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Okay, that was my main question about it, because there are a lot of people that say that they are transgender or whatever, then later detransition, and it causes a lot of poor stigma towards the community. But obviously they are valid and everyone's valid for that. But my other question is, this whole thing is just kind of difficult because it depends on what people perceive trans women as. In my eyes, trans women are trans women and not women for a reason. Like, obviously, because a woman is a biological woman, and that's something that can't be changed. But it's something that I've seen quite a lot of people debating about whether they're women or not. And can I just ask the host, is that what the live is about? Like,
my opinion? Like, what do you mean? I don't understand.
Asking the host whether, because I can't tell if you mean like trans women aren't valid or if trans women aren't biological women, because if that is so, that is true.
So I don't know where he went, but I'm one of his mods, but he believes that like trans women are trans women. Like they are not a biological woman. Like basically he has the same views as you do, Cheeky. Like it's like they are not a biological female. They still have the male chromosomal makeup, et cetera, et cetera. So a man cannot be a woman, or like vice versa, so on and so forth. So
Right, thank you for clearing that up. I was just really curious about that. Thank you.
Right. They're not any type of women. They're a subcategory of male. Man.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. So I have a question then. So trans women can't be lesbians?
No.
And like
Correct.
the term
That's
lesbian.
Well, because lesbian is a concept that excludes males by definition.
Woman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I learned something today. Thank you.
You know what I mean? Because like we would need a word that does operate in that way. If lesbian wasn't the word, we would need a word that signifies, female, exclusively female relationships. You know what I mean? And just like we need words that specify exclusively male relationships and heterosexual relationships. So it's like there's utility to these words referring to these concepts exclusively.
Wow. Okay.
And with like the hope belief, like you can't be a transitioning male, so male to female, and be attracted to a woman and be a lesbian. It doesn't make sense. You're born. It's more of like the biology and sex. Like sex for sex kind of thing for lesbians. So that sounds really crude. That sounds awful. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, it does sound awful, but
Well, it just makes sense.
Heterosexual is the right term.
Right.
Yeah, it does.
It just makes sense, because words have to, specify and be exclusive. Like the whole problem is that people want to have words themselves be inclusive. And when people do that, then the words lose meaning. You know what I mean? Like, if words aren't specifying certain concepts, then they're meaningless. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, for everyone's time.
No
I'll be
problem.
leaving now.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, I respectfully want to return to 1v1 debates. I can't. Panel debates make me wheezy.
Can someone take me out? I don't know
Yeah,
how
sure,
to.
no problem, darling. It's just so, it makes me queasy. Like, I can't do panel debates. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you for coming up, though, everybody who came. I'm sorry, I cannot do it. I do not have the patience. Let me see.
Being gay is a medical condition, or mental condition.
What? Okay, I didn't hear that. Anyways, let's get up to 75k likes, guys. I don't turn off comments, but it's fine. Okay, I'll drop you. Zay, I'll have you up at the end of the live when I'm closing up. Okay, baby? Zay? I don't know. Alright, let me return to the non-panel. Okay, I have to... 1 second, guys. I'm sorting my shit out. Great. Alright, we have 2 people in the request. Alright, I'm taking 5 more guests and then I'm going to bed. Because I am tired. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, what would you like to say on this topic?
I think it's not a big deal. I just think if somebody wants to use a different name and a different pronouns, why is it such a big deal?
That's not what's on my background.
What?
That's not what's on my background.
Yeah, I'm arguing with that.
What?
I'm arguing with that. Sorry, I can't speak well.
Yes?
I understand. Sorry. I don't know. I just want to say that, but I realize it's not very logical.
Okay. Please read the prompt before you join the box, please. Hi, what would you like to say on that topic?
I just wanted to come up and define exactly why a trans woman cannot be a lesbian, if that's okay. I think people were trying to put it out properly, but it was coming across wrong. So a trans woman cannot be a lesbian because they start off as a man, okay? They have man biologically are male, they have male gender parts, and what happens is they become a trans woman. Now, trans is a trans for a reason. So when they're going through the stages of trans, they are still a man, and when they're still attracted sexually to a woman.
What the fuck part of opposition don't you people understand? Why? I don't understand. I'm at a loss for words. Like I feel like I've said it like a million times. Opposition. OPPO, right? TION. Opposition. Jesus, it's an S. Jesus, SITH. What am I saying? OPPOSITION. Jesus, I cannot spell at 1:45 in the morning. So, let us move along. Ashlyn is here. We need opposition. Okay. All right. We'll do Ashlyn. It'll more likely just be a discussion with Ashlyn. Hi, Ashlyn.
Finally, you let me up. I've been waiting for so long. I had to leave and then I came back.
What's up?
So I'm just here to debate on the validity of non-binary. So for me, because I know that there are non-binary or people that claim to be non-binary that say that they suffer from gender dysphoria. And so under that situation, you know, just like I have gender dysphoria, which makes me, I've started hormone replacement therapy, which makes me, I'm working towards, you know, transitioning and all that as a trans woman. And so if someone that claims to be non-binary, their goal is to be not of the opposite, but something else. So if they have gender dysphoria and there's like a hormone treatment and all that, would that not constitute for a category for non-binary?
I mean, there's a category for them in terms of, I guess, gender affirming therapy, but I don't think that the identity makes sense. The identity is what I'm more so speaking about. A person cannot be neither male or female, which is essentially what the identity entails. It entails that the person doesn't identify as male or female. So I don't. That's more so what I am referencing. And Marcy, just quickly as well to address somebody in the comments. Okay. Marcy, stop the appeal to legality fallacy. You often do that. You pull a lot of logical fallacies when you debate, Marcy. I wouldn't suggest it. Anyways, please go ahead.
But you know, when it comes to, I guess I get what you're saying, that you know the gender and the sex is they're connected and all that. So we don't have that third category, I guess, for gender because there would be no sexual component to it. Is that your argument?
You're going to have to repeat it. I was typing something.
Oh, I was just saying, you know how there's a connection between sex and gender. And so since non-binary wouldn't have a sexual component connected to it, that's why it wouldn't be real?
Right, because like I said, it's based on the binary nature of sex. That's why it's called non-binary, right? The binary to which they are referencing is the binary nature of sex, right? That is what they're disassociating from. They can't be disassociating from masculinity and femininity. And we consider non-binary because it's not a binary. Masculinity and femininity is a spectrum. There's no one way to be masculine and no one way to be feminine. So the binary, right, would be sex, and you cannot be neither male or female. Therefore, the identity is it's non-existent. There's no such thing as a sexless person.
You know what's funny is I just having this conversation with you, like when I realized, you know, the connection between sex and gender, because I was thinking of gender as not always connecting, but that was my old me. But with that context, it makes sense that it wouldn't be a valid category. So I concede.
Hold on 1 second. Marcy, I didn't say androgyny doesn't exist. Bro, the logical fallacies that this person continues to exhibit is just incredibly embarrassing. Hi, Marcy.
Hey, so Nate, okay. The question is this, though. Question is this. I have one question.
Okay, I don't care. I was speaking. So, I just wanted to make it clear that I didn't say that androgyny doesn't exist. That's not what my claim was. So you already pulled a straw man fallacy when you began to speak, right? Down in the comments. Right? No, just want to make that clear. Androgyny does exist. Like, that's not what I said.
Okay, so the question is this. Can I be legally recognized in Canada, the US, Argentina, Mexico as non-binary? Yes or no?
Sure. Legally you can.
Legally, right? So if something is legally recognized, it exists. Whether you agree with it or not, it is legally recognized.
Were slaves legally recognized?
that's a straw man argument right there.
That's not a straw man.
Yeah, it is, because legally recognized.
What is a straw man? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. What is a straw man?
It's a straw man because you are.
What is a straw man? Hold on a second.
You're pulling for straws, and you're like, oh, slavery.
We're going to run the line of logic.
Right.
What is a straw man fallacy?
Again, is non-binary people legally recognized? Yes or no?
Marcy, this is why you can't debate. You're just so stupid, man. Were slaves legally recognized? The answer is yes, right? But I'm asking you, what is a straw man fallacy? Because your argument is because it's legal, it's valid, and evidently that's not the case, right? That's an appeal to legality fallacy, and that's not going to work here. So I'm going to ask you yet again, Marcy, what is a straw man fallacy? Because you're just using words you clearly don't understand.
I mean, I don't think you understand it because you're pulling for straws.
What a straw man fallacy is.
That legal, you're saying like, oh, slavery.
What is Jesus Christ, it's like you don't listen. I'm muting you because, like, I don't usually mute people, like, even people who I disagree with, but the problem is that you just don't listen. You just come up and you steamroll. That's your problem, right? So you evidently do not know what a straw man fallacy is if you heard me ask a question, right? And you clearly didn't have an answer, right? That's not a straw man. Hence, I'm asking you, what is a straw man fallacy? When you can tell me that, then you can go ahead with your other point. So you have to, I'm not going to have, I hopefully don't have to mute you again. Because I have to wait a whole minute to invite you to unmute. I have to wait another 20 odd seconds to invite you to unmute. I shouldn't be muting you because you're way older than I am. You must have some sort of level of maturity and stop screaming and acting like a petulant child, to be honest. So, we'll just wait. Great.
Legal recognition is a valid recognition. This is why trans women can be women.
What is a straw man fallacy?
This is why trans women can be women because I can legally be a woman.
What is a straw man fallacy?
Are you saying I can't legally be a woman?
What is a straw man fallacy?
Nate, can I legally be a woman? Yes or no?
What is a straw man fallacy?
Nate, can I legally be recognized as a woman?
What is a straw man fallacy?
Nate, I'm answering your question, but you answered mine first. Can I legally be recognized as a woman?
I asked you, what is a straw man fallacy?
It's a straw man because you are pulling for straws there. Yes.
Wait, what? Did you just say it's a straw man fallacy because I'm pulling for straws?
You are, because you are saying, oh, what about murder? What about slavery? What about something else?
It's not what a straw man fallacy is.
But the fact is, though, it's legally recognized, Nate. Legally recognized means it's legally recognized.
That's not what a straw man fallacy is.
Nate, is it legally recognized? Can I legally be recognized as a woman? Yes or no?
Legally recognized before 1838? Yes or no?
Nate, can I legally be recognized as a woman? Yes or no?
I already answered your question for both non-binary and a woman, but I explained to you that it's an appeal to legality fallacy. Do you know what an appeal to legality? What is an appeal to legality fallacy?
It's legally recognized. All my documentation say yes. I'm legally female, Nate. Doesn't that make you mad?
What is an appeal to legality fallacy?
It's legal. It's legally recognized by the UN.
Marcy, you're just making yourself
by 16 countries. Non-binary is legally recognized. To say it isn't real,
the more that you
speak, legally recognized,
the more that you speak, the more you make yourself look more unintelligent. What is an appeal to legality fallacy?
It's legally recognized, so that makes it valid.
That's not what is an appeal to legality fallacy?
Again, it's legally valid, so it's real.
Okay,
if it's not, if they make it illegally,
what is an appeal to legality?
Because legally recognized is valid.
No.
Equals valid.
Okay, hold on. So if slaves,
I'm really sorry, Nate, but all my documentation say.
So was it valid? Was slavery valid because slaves were legally
again straw man argument right here because
what
you're pulling. What about murder? What if murder was legal?
Straw man fallacy. What is a straw man fallacy?
It's a straw man fallacy.
What is a straw man fallacy?
Like you're not even listening. You can't even. Okay, is non-binary people legally?
Can you answer the question? Can you?
Yeah, because you're pulling for straws, bud.
That's not what a straw man fallacy.
Yes, you're Nate. Nate, you said. Nate, are legally recognized individuals valid?
I have to keep muting you. It is as if you don't listen. Like you're just so stupid. What is an appeal to legality fallacy? What is a straw man fallacy? That's what I'm asking you to define. Because you keep saying that it's a straw man fallacy because I'm grasping for straws. That's not what an appeal to that's not what a straw man fallacy is. Right? So very good of you to go on Bing.com in the little moment that I was speaking. It's probably best for you to do so. Right? No.
Nate, legally recognized? Are non-binary people legally recognized? Yes or no? That's all I want to know.
What is an appeal
Are they
to
legally
legality
recognized?
fallacy?
Yes or no?
What is an appeal to legality fallacy?
All right. Are they legally recognized? Yes or no?
What is an appeal to legality
I'm
fallacy?
asking you, are they legally recognized? Yes or no?
Why won't you
So
answer
you
my
can't
question?
even answer that question?
Did I not answer it already?
No, you didn't. Are they legally recognized?
Wait, hold on. I'll ask the comments. Guys, did I not answer whether or not non-binary people were legally recognized? Did I not answer that question?
No, you didn't.
I'm not asking
I want you to say non-binary people are legally
I'm not
recognized by
asking
16
you.
countries.
I literally did. I literally answered.
What'd you say?
I answered earlier. I
Say
answered you
non-binary
already.
people are legally recognized.
I answered the question already.
No, I just want you to say, are non-binary people legally recognized?
I already answered yes.
Okay. All right. Nate, you just lost your entire argument.
Slaves,
Thanks for
no. Are slaves legally recognized, Marcy? Were slaves legally recognized?
Do we legally recognize slaves now?
No. In the past,
Again,
right,
you're
this would also apply. This would also apply. That no, that's not what a straw man fallacy
Like
is.
if it's legally recognized,
something being legally recognized, something being legally recognized, something being legally recognized.
Does the U.S. government legally recognize people with gender markers?
Okay, all right, stop talking because you just talk. Something being legally recognized does not necessitate that it is ethically, morally, or logically consistent. Right? So that is what your appeal to legality fallacy is doing. You're saying that because it is legally enshrined in Constitution, that it is therefore valid. You're literally so stupid. Like you're just like really dumb. Like I'm very surprised. And you are a man, by the way. Like, I don't care if the United States acknowledges you as a woman, because you're not a woman. So evidently you have an issue. Leo, I would let you up, but she's just going to steamroll. But you know what I'll do? I will let Leo up. And then I'm going to allow you and Marcy. So this is not, I'm just going to show you how difficult she is to both of us. Like, she's just difficult with everybody.
Sure. So, Marcy, I do have a quick question for you.
Sure.
If something being legally validated kind of affirms its validity. There are lots of anti-trans bills that are out there that are recognized to be legally valid, like the denial of gender-affirming care, and a lot of defenses that are allowing individuals to
I love it.
violate trans people's rights, actually use violence on them simply because they could be in shock that they are in fact trans. Are there
human right violations against trans people? Is that a crime? Should it be a crime? Yes.
No, no. Hold on a second, Marcy.
Right?
He made
but
a
the
good
fact
point.
is it legally recognized?
Okay, I'm gonna mute you because you need to answer the question. So he just posed a very good question to you. Now you're just deflecting like a father from child support. He just asked you, right? You said that because something is legal, is recognized in the United States as valid, right, or legal, right? That it is valid. So are all anti-trans laws valid because they're legal? Yes or no? If you don't answer, like if you don't give a straight answer, I'm going to kick you. You're going to take the concession. And Leo is 18 years old. So you're taking a concession from an 18-year-old. That's embarrassing. So say yes or no. If I don't get it, I'm kicking you. And everyone's going to spam El Marcy in the chat. Go ahead.
Tell me any federally passed bills that are anti-trans. Any federal laws that are anti-trans.
I mean, that'd be pretty.
The denial of gender-affirming care for trans kids.
Has that been federally? Is it a federal law?
It's legal. You didn't say that it had to be federal to be considered legal. So that's just going to be a shift of the goalpost. You're shifting the goalpost.
No, because
you're moving the goalpost. You never said it had to be federal. You never said it had to be federal. You said once it was legal.
Is it federally legal?
You said once it was legal.
This is how the United States works, though. I know you're not from here.
Okay, muting you again. So you said that it had to be legal. You didn't say that it had to be a federal law. So now you're shifting the goalpost. Now you're just being intellectually dishonest. Everyone can see that you're shifting the goalpost. So let's try that again. Because you're just an intellectually dishonest person. 1 second. Great. Turn it on. Great.
Okay, so no federal laws that
Right. So
that block it.
what you didn't
right?
you didn't state
So this is the
you
United
didn't state
States,
it had
though.
to
This is the
be.
U.S. for.
Okay, meeting you again. You didn't say that it had to be a federal law in order to be considered legal. You said it had once it was legal, it was considered valid. That's what you said. So now you're just losing. So Leo, you took the concession. You took the W. Let's not waste any more time with her.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of crazy, not gonna lie, though.
she's very logically inconsistent. So W Leo in the chat, L Marcy, because Marcy is just dense.
I do have a quick question for you, just regarding, I guess, like debate tactics, if that'd be possible.
I'd rather do that in private. If you want to just text me.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah.
Jules is here. I believe that Jules agrees. Jules, you agree, right?
I think I'm a drop, but it was nice on as always.
You on there, no problem.
Yeah.
Just message me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Marcy is such a delusional little bitch. Anyways. She just doesn't make any sense. He just wants to say something. Okay, no problem. Marcy is delusional. Delulu. Hi, Jules.
Hi, it's so
What's
nice
up?
to talk to you. I really love your lives. I just wanted to say, the fact that that person was saying, because it's recognized by the government for it being, legal, that it's, recognized. Basically, I think there was at one point, I've forgotten which state, or I don't even know if it's active, where zoophilia was, legal. So basically they're saying, because that's legal, that's all right. That's basically what they're saying. That's also a really good example of how interesting the example they were giving.
Yeah,
So just because it is legal
is just
doesn't mean it's okay.
she's just a raging leftist trans ally. She doesn't know what she's talking about, evidently, right? I acknowledge that they're legally recognized. It doesn't mean that the identity is valid. So, like, you still have to argue for it. You can't just say because it's legal, it's therefore correct.
Yeah, I knew if I wasn't going to bring that really good point up, that was going to bother me for the rest of the night. But yeah, I've always seen your lives. I know Kay really well, and I really love your lives. I just want to say that I support you, and you're doing great. Thank you for hosting me up.
Yeah, man, no problem, Jules. You have a good one. Alrighty. So, I don't see any more guest requests. There are none, so no L's taken from the host except for the little bitches in the comments who are crying because they can't debate me. Gothic femboy, Jack Ministry. You. Bro is a gothic what the fuck is a gothic femboy? The fuck is that? What is a gothic femboy? What is that? Hold on, I want to start up with a Okay, we have returned. Let's see if we can show you guys what a gothic femboy is. Because they're so cool. Oops. Okay, great. So, jump scare. Like, what is that? Take several seats, please. Just sit down. Sit down. Gothic femboy. I am so dead. What the fuck is this? Gothic femboy. I can't, like. Oh my goodness. This is just crazy. Oh my god. I just look at this and I see Chrissy wake up. Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up. Chrissy, wake up. Chrissy, wake up. I'm sorry. I can't. Oh my goodness. I have no impulse control. Okay, let me change it before TikTok thinks I'm bullying these people. Lord of mercy. Yeah, Ivano, somebody's background said they were a gothic femboy. Guys, this is not cool. The fuck? Okay, wait, no, it doesn't even show. But it just shows these large. I guess the boots are fine. But yeah, it's fine. Who is muting people in my comments? I wasn't even paying attention. Who is muting people? Okay, can you stop bullying random people? A lot less credit. I don't necessarily need credibility. I was just, laughing at the femboys. Because I might be feminine, but I'm not a femboy. Femboys are just the emo ones. Crazy. Muting me for saying all guys. Kim, if it's fine if they use caps. Like I don't really have that rule in the life, so it's fine if if they use caps. It's fine. Anyways, we have not Nate IHG. Oh, well, that's not. Oh, that's not. Oh, well then. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, that's not okay. Anyways, we have 140 or 152 people in here. Nobody disagrees. This is the largest my life has been in a while because I thought I was shadow banned. Genuinely speaking. So Marcy took the L, so Marcy L in the chat. What is my opinion? I do not believe that trans. Everything up here, I agree with. L Marcy in the chat, guys. She believes that because something is valid, something is valid because it's legal. That's very, very stupid. Very stupid. So, thank you. Is it racist not to believe in Two-Spirit? No, it's not. If you don't take part in that cultural belief, then you're not obligated to believe in it. Stupid. Anyways, I'm going to make a money gun my gift goal. Let's try and hit my gift goal for the night, guys, because I haven't let's do. I love the love you stuff. Can we do 5 of these? I think 5 is fine. Can we do 5 of the love yous? Thank you, Ashlyn. Oh shit, I changed it. I'm sorry, Ashlyn. Why do I not agree with trans people? I agree with them existing. I don't think anybody's against the existence of trans people. I just don't believe that trans women are women. Non-binary just doesn't exist. That's just not. No one. I don't believe anybody has sufficiently argued it. Thank you, Kim. I want to debate. You don't have enough followers, Miko. You have 6 followers. You need a lot more to do that. Thank you. Oh, goodness. Thank you for the love you. I just like this gift so much. It's really cool to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey! Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've done my gift goal for the night. Maybe we'll do one more, but this will just be something just, I don't know if, I feel like closing off the live because I'm really tired now. No, I'm just, usually I do satire, like I just put a random gift that nobody will actually give. We'll put a Ferris wheel up there because nobody actually gives a Ferris wheel, but somebody may pass by who does. From time to time, I've gotten some exotic gifts. So, we're gonna put it there. Where did it go? It fucking disappeared. No. Damn. Oh, the train. I like the train. We'll do 2 trains and then I'm going to go to bed. No, there are some really exotic gifts. Sorry, okay, somebody requested. Jeez, I'm so tired. Hello?
Hi, how are you, man?
I'm great. What would you like to say on that topic?
So non-binary isn't real?
Mm-hmm.
How would you explain Little Uzi Vert?
I don't know who that is.
Little Uzi Vert.
Who is that? Is that the guy with the diamond in the middle of his forehead?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
so
what
he's
about
not
him?
real?
What about him?
Huh?
What about him?
So he's not real. He's non-binary.
No, he's a man.
No, he's non-binary.
He's a man.
Yes, he's a man. I agree he's a man, but he's non-binary.
Non-binary means you don't associate with man or woman or male or female. So
he was born a man. He was born a male.
No one is born a man. A man is an adult. Nobody is born an adult.
You're born a male. Yes, he's a male, but
great.
He is non-binary.
No, Little Uzi Vert is a man.
There is many studies proving that Little Uzi Vert himself, the individual, is non-binary.
Okay, can you provide one study?
Huh?
Provide the study. Thank you for the gifts. I feel like this guy is just satire, but I'm willing to facilitate it because I don't really have anything better to do. So, I guess we're talking non-binary for tonight. Sorry guys if my green screen keeps glitching in and out. That can occur because of that.
All of those are sources.
What sources?
I just named off all the sources that are proving that Little Uzi Vert is non-binary.
Were you off TikTok? Were you off TikTok when you were reading this?
Nah, yeah. Oh, my bad.
Then we can't. We didn't hear it.
Yeah, it was iHeartRadio, Los Angeles Times, Australian Broadcasting Channel.
Those are not studies.
XXL.
The Australian Broadcasting Channel is not a science.
Well,
Are you okay?
the site is what it is, but there's a
This
study
site,
on
no,
that.
no, a
There's a study
study
on that
and
link.
a study and an opinion piece in an
It's
article
not
are
an
two
opinion
different
piece. No, it's a
things.
real study that was sourced in the article. So if you look up like Lil Uzi Vert non-binary on Google, go to like all like the first few links. There's like sources like plugged into that article.
There are no studies. These are news articles.
Go look for them. They're there. I read them. I've been
I
read them.
did not hear you.
Huh?
We did not hear you. When you're off the app, we cannot hear you.
No, and I'm saying right now, like, bro, trust me, I'm like the biggest Lil Uzi fan. And when I
That's
heard that he
really
was
amazing.
non-binary, I was like, "There's no way." So
He's
I went
not
ahead and scoured the
non-binary.
internet, and a lot of those news articles, they got sources posted on there.
Little Uzi is a man. He's not non-binary.
Tell it to his face, dog.
Sure. Maybe I will one day. You have a good night. Jesus. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
What would you like to say?
I want to ask. What? Couldn't hear what you're saying, sorry.
Right, I'm just asking you what would you like to say on the topic. Go ahead.
The third one? Like, let me just ask a small question first.
Can I ask how old you are?
What? Why?
Because you need to be a certain age to be on TikTok. How old are you?
Okay, bye.
Okay. Thank you, mods, for counting that out. I'm very tired, so I'm not paying attention. Thank you, guys. Adios.
Hi. So I just want to preface this by saying I completely agree. And I'm not gonna lie, whenever that dude mentioned Lil Uzi Vert, I don't know, that was just funny as crap. But what people don't understand is that this is a world where you get what you get. And you're supposed to deal with that. And people becoming trans and non-binary and then coming up with different pronouns. People are saying don't diss him. I'm not trying to diss him. It was just funny. But people who are trans, wanting to have different pronouns or be non-binary, that's just them wanting what they can't have, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
Agree. Yeah, I would agree. Give me just a second. I just want to point out a little bit of hypocrisy that I'm noticing with people. Right, there are a lot of pro-trans people in the comments who are calling me closeted as an insult. If trans people are valid and you value trans people so much, why is it that being a closeted trans person is an insult to you? Because every trans person was closeted at one point or another. I don't quite understand. It's like talking about gay people. If a person were to make a live, for instance, right, about gay people being immoral, which obviously I disagree with, right? But the person were, and then the people who are pro LGBTQ in the comments go, "Oh, you're just a closeted gay man." Why is that an insult? If you like gay people, why are you using being closeted, which every gay person is at one point or another, as an insult? That's very stupid. It just shows how stupid you are, to be honest.
I feel like when people are closeted, they're just either not ready to come out or just ashamed to say it because they think people will think of them differently. So that might be why it's used as an insult.
Well, I think it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical to say you're a closeted trans person as an insult when you literally support trans people. It doesn't make any sense because every trans person has been closeted at one given point or another. So I think that's a very ridiculous way to think. Anyways, I am looking, for opposition. I'm not offended. I'm just asking why, because at the end of the day, I know that I'm not a trans woman, right? So, I'm looking for opposition though, darling. But thank you for coming up. I do appreciate. everything that you've said.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, man. You have a good night. Okay. I'm only picking those with rainbow shit in their bio at this point because it's a dead giveaway. Hello? Hi.
Hi.
Can I ask how old you are?
18.
Date of birth?
2005.
What month?
April.
Great. What would you like to say on the topic?
I just want to know, like, why do you believe trans women are women? Oh.
Sorry, I paused. My bad.
Yeah,
Did you
that's
hear
okay.
me?
Why do you believe what's written up there?
Oh, because I would say that a woman is an adult human female. Therefore, trans women as males do not meet the necessary conditions to be a woman.
Yeah. I believe women, being a woman is a choice. Like, it's like a social construct.
No, femininity is a social construct, not woman.
Yeah.
Woman, right, but femininity can be shared by both men and women, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So it's not really a choice, is it?
It is a choice. Oh.
No, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. I was not prepared. It's just also, why do you believe non-binary isn't real?
Because a person cannot identify as neither male or female.
Well, somebody can be gender neutral and not want to.
That's talking about masculinity and femininity. That's gender expression.
I know, and not want to identify with the terms male or female, though.
That's not possible. Male and female is simply sex, right? And you cannot identify as neither male or female. You could disassociate from Sure.
Yeah.
But that's not what non-binary is. The person literally believes that they are neither male or female.
No, they can be male or female. It's they believe that they're neither a man nor a woman.
A man or a woman is simply an adult human, male or female.
And
So,
I disagree with that. I believe
could you
that
tell me what a woman is?
a woman is somebody who just identifies with the term of being a woman.
That's circular reasoning. Why is everybody coming up here saying that trans women are women having circular reasoning? This is circular.
I don't know. That's just what I believe.
Right. So, what are women's rights?
Women's rights?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
What are women's rights?
Like what rights women have, or what?
No, what is the concept of women's rights? What makes men's rights different from women's rights?
Well, there's no difference. It's human rights.
No, but there's moral entitlements delegate. You know, what is a right?
A right is something that you're owed.
A moral entitlement, you would agree, correct?
Yeah.
Great. So we have moral entitlements delegated to women, and we have moral entitlements delegated to men. What is the difference between those two things? There's only one correct answer.
There's no difference.
There's no difference between men and women's rights?
Well, I mean, there is a difference.
So what is the difference?
I'm getting a little confused.
It's a very simple question. What's the difference between men and women's rights?
You mean like what rights men have that women don't?
No. There's two groups. We have men and we have women. We're going to be delegating moral entitlements to these groups. One is going to be to the category of man, and one is going to be to the category of woman. What makes those two things different?
Nothing.
No, there's a difference.
I don't know what you're talking
There's a
about.
difference between men and women's rights.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
It's a very simple question. Tell me what you do not understand, because I'm not going to give you the answer.
I just don't know what you mean.
I feel like you do. You just don't want to answer.
No, I'm being serious. I don't know what you mean.
So what don't you understand? Anything that I just said you don't understand at all?
I just don't know what you mean.
Men's rights are moral entitlements delegated to who?
Men.
No, that's circular. Can't do that.
Huh?
It's circular. What makes men's rights conceptually different from women's rights?
I don't know.
It's sex, darling.
Sex.
Literally, that's the difference between men and women's rights. One is to adult human males, moral entitlements delegated to adult human males, and women's rights are moral entitlements delegated to adult human females. The
Yeah.
difference between, exactly, so it's sex-based.
Yeah.
It's not a choice, and sex is not a choice. You don't choose your sex, therefore it's not a choice.
You don't choose your sex.
Exactly.
But
So
you
then
do choose your gender.
No, you don't choose your gender either. It's deterministically biological.
No, gender is different from sex.
Is sex reassignment surgery considered gender-affirming care?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it can affirm whatever gender you identify with.
Oh, so sex affirms gender. We affirm gender by affirming primary and secondary sex traits.
No, it's kind of just
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it. It's like, yes, sex affirms gender, but
So how are they completely separate?
because sex is biological and is determined by your chromosomes, and
Right,
gender.
and your gender is also affirmed by doing so, correct?
No, not everybody, not every trans person wants to change their sex.
I didn't ask you that. I'm saying to you that under gender affirming care, sex reassignment surgery, SRS, is considered gender affirming.
Yeah.
Right. So why would we be affirming sex through gender if they're completely separate, according to your logic?
Because some people just want to do that.
That's not a logical justification. You have to logically justify this. You're not logically justifying it. You're just saying because we want to.
Yeah, that's
right. But you just made the positive claim that sex and gender are completely different. I just explained to you how they're deterministically the same.
Yeah.
Right, because sex reassignment surgery is considered gender affirming care.
Yes.
Great. Why?
Because it just affirms what gender they want to identify as.
So the gender is affirmed by the sex.
It can be.
No, it is.
Not always.
In what way would it not be?
Well, because I know trans people that don't want that kind of
No, I'm not talking about those who don't get it. We're talking about those who get it and it doesn't affirm their sex
those
or
who
their gender.
get it.
All right, we'll give another example. Breast augmentation, right?
Yeah.
Breasts are a secondary sex trait of which sex?
Female.
Is breast augmentation considered gender affirming care?
It can be.
No, it is. That's what it's classified as.
Well, I mean, cis women can get it too.
That's literally that doesn't negate my point.
No.
Exactly. So affirming secondary sex traits is considered gender affirming care, correct?
Yes.
Why would we need to affirm gender biologically if it is completely separate? You said it was completely separate from biology.
It's a physical thing of just wanting to look that way, I guess.
Look like what?
Look more like the sex you identify as, or no, gender you identify as.
Wait, hold on. So now you're using the words synonymously. Why are you using sex and gender synonymously? You said they were different.
I messed up with what I was talking.
Sure. Is hormone replacement therapy considered gender affirming care?
Yes.
Right. And in hormone replacement therapy, typically which hormones are we introducing to the body?
Testosterone and estrogen.
Great. And testosterone is produced in larger quantities in which sex typically?
Male.
And estrogen is produced in larger quantities in which sex typically?
Female.
Okay, and what is a hormone?
A hormone is like a chemical your body makes.
Chemical substance transmitted to the body by the blood. Great. So you're establishing that to affirm gender, we affirm primary and secondary sex traits.
Yeah.
Therefore linking gender and sex, not separating them.
No.
You can't just say no. I just sufficiently proved to you how they're linked.
Yeah, but they're still different.
No, you literally just conceded that they're literally linked.
No.
You can't just say no after literally conceding that they do.
No.
Okay, how are sex and gender different under the premise that I just provided?
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
under specifically that example that you gave.
I just said under the premise that I just provided, so yes.
Yeah,
How are they different? What's the difference between sex and gender? You were very adamant.
sorry. They're different because it's just sex is biological. It's like, it's what
You're just saying it's different because it's different.
Yeah, it's different.
So could you tell me what sex-based violence is? What is sex-based violence?
I'm not sure. It's like,
You don't know what
just
sex-based
violence.
violence is?
It's just violence against the opposite sex, right?
And what is gender-based violence?
Violence against the opposite gender, I assume.
All right. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Look up the definition of gender-based violence and look at the definition of sex-based violence. Tell me if they look the same to you.
Okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look on my computer.
Mm-hmm. Do 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 do.
I mean, it would be the differences, just violence based on gender and sex. So.
Right, and what's the difference between gender-based violence and sex-based violence? Is there any difference?
There's not much of a difference, I don't think.
Is there any difference at all?
Well, one's based on gender and one's based on sex.
You're just saying they're different words.
Yeah.
That's all you're saying.
Well,
okay, we'll do one more. Can you tell me what gender roles are?
Gender roles are like what's usually expected of one gender.
Okay, can you tell me what sex roles are?
What's usually expected of one sex.
Okay, look up the definition of sex roles and gender roles and tell me what you find.
Okay.
We're going to be here for a long time tonight.
So, sex roles are the role or behavior learned by a person as appropriate.
1 second. Does it, when you look up the definition of sex role, does it say also known as a gender role? Does it say that?
No.
Do you want me to pull it up? Because if I do, you're going to look really stupid if you're ignoring it.
No.
Okay, I'm going to pull it. I'll pull it up for you. No, it's fine.
I looked it up on the dictionary, on the Oxford Dictionary. It does come up with gender role stuff below it, though.
Hold on, no, it's fine. Since we have to do it this way. All right. Read what that says. I'll turn off the comments for you, Pookie. Let's read together.
Okay,
1 minute.
Hard to see.
We're gonna learn together tonight.
Oh, there it is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm using a different browser. It didn't come
There
up
it
with
is.
that.
Uh-huh. Right.
A gender role, also known as a sex role, is a social role encompassing a range of behaviors and attitudes that are genuinely considered acceptable, appropriate, or desirable for a person based on that person's sex.
Okay. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so have I shown you anything important here, or is it still reading blank to you?
That it's saying gender and sex are the same?
Deterministically, yes. Which I just explained to you.
Huh?
I just explained to you. That wasn't off Wikipedia, Leo.
No, it's on
The
No, he said
website.
Wikipedia. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what.
No, the website is on Wikipedia.
What I just showed you was not on Wikipedia.
Yes, that was on Wikipedia.
Hold on. Let me go back and look. I stand corrected. I didn't realize. I didn't realize. I apologize. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Stand corrected. Okay.
It's
Would that be to give you a different source? Because I found another one. And that's sufficient for you.
Yeah.
Reddit? It's not Reddit.
I would not trust Reddit either.
Okay, right. Yeah, the opposition, what I'm saying to you is that there's evidently some sort of contradiction here, right? Sociology nowadays, modern gender theory says that gender and sex are completely different things. However, gender roles and sex roles are essentially the same. Gender stereotypes and sex stereotypes are essentially the same. Are essentially the same. Gender-based violence and sex-based violence are essentially the same. So evidently, there is some sort of political doublespeak going on where we're separating the words, but we're not being consistent.
Yeah, gender is based in sex, but it's not sex.
Yeah, but what I said, they're deterministically biological. That was my claim.
Not entirely.
I said no, hold on. I said there's deterministic and there's associative. What is the difference between deterministically? These are deterministic traits and associative.
What did you say?
Deterministic traits and associative traits.
I don't really know.
Okay. So deterministic traits would be the conditions or criteria that determine a category on a deterministic basis, right? Associative traits would simply be the subsequent ascriptions or things that we ascribe to a particular category, typically based upon its existing characteristics. You got it?
Yes.
Great. So deterministically, gender is biological. Associatively, it's sociological, which is what you're referencing when you say that it's socially constructed. You're referencing gender roles that we ascribe to the genders, male and female, stereotypes, gender stereotypes that we associate with the genders, which are typically going to be masculinity and femininity, which derive from male and female. Gender expressions that we typically associate with the genders, which are going to be going to fall into the typicality of masculinity and femininity. So deterministically, it's determined by a sex. Associatively, it's sociological, with reference to how you interact with society.
Yeah, kind
Exactly. Great. So then,
I mostly agree, but
exactly. Then I just explained to you how gender is rooted in biology. It's rooted in sex.
Yeah, it is
Deterministically.
Like, gender does come from sex. Like,
I know
why trans people are trying to look more like the gender that they identify as.
Right. So you agree that gender and sex are not completely different things that are void of one another.
They're still different.
They're different words, yeah, and they represent different concepts at some point, yes. But deterministically, they're rooted in the same process of sex.
Yeah.
Great. Imagine conflating slavery with gender. Marcy, okay.
Huh?
No, it's fine. Marcy's schizophrenic. Yeah. Anyways. Dijon is loading in.
Alright.
Yeah. Hi, Dijon. I'm sorry, guys, but Marcy is acting schizophrenic in the comments. Like, she's just being very dumb. I'm sorry. Anyways, guys, say hi to Dijon. He's coming to grace my life with his presence and his my toes, Lord. To grace my life with his presence and his what's it called? Bring his platform here. So
Beyonce. Anyway, trans women are women.
Oh?
Yeah.
Well then. El Dijon in the chat.
Oh.
I'm joking. Are you serious, Dijon? Do you actually want to debate it?
There is no debate. First of all, if I feel like a woman, I'm a woman. Why does it matter?
What is a woman, Dijon?
Somebody that feels like a woman.
Yeah.
It's almost as though that's so circular. It's almost as though you're using the word in the definition, therefore proving circular logic, which is known to be logically fallacious. It's almost as if that's the case.
Wait a second though, because if I have a societal view of what a woman is, right, I can just use this societal view to determine what a woman is.
Right, and if society were to tell you that a woman is a female, would you not relent and say that a woman is an adult human female?
You got me. I lose. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I give up. Please.
Because you know they did a poll, and I believe 60% of the United States agrees that sex and gender, or your gender, is determined by sex. So majority of society would agree that a woman is an adult human female.
I mean, I would just argue those people are bigots, right? Because they don't.
Oh my god. Oh god. So guess what, Dijon? You want to hear a little conversation that I had?
Yeah.
With what's it called? Marcy, or should I say Mario, in the comments not too long ago. So basically, she came up, right, and we were talking about whether or not non-binary was valid, right? And I said that it's not valid. I gave my explanation, and then she came up and she said, this is a trans woman, by the way, comes up and says that non-binary people are legally recognized, right? Therefore, it's valid. So I said to her, okay, sure. Were slaves also legally recognized? She doesn't want to answer the question. I said, because her claim, by the way, is that because something is legally recognized, therefore it is valid.
Yeah.
Right? Which is an appeal to legality fallacy, by the way, which I was trying to explain to her, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't want to answer, right? And Marcy, if you know what an analogy is, you would know that I'm comparing the principle. The principle that you have, right, is that something legal, if something is legal, therefore it's valid. So I'm asking you, owning a slave, owning a person as property was legal, right? Does this now necessitate that was valid? That's what I asked you.
Or even, not even like, because maybe they're confusing the idea of valid, like, well, this was a thing that existed. No, you would have to concede that the idea that these slaves weren't human, you would have to concede that this is not only something that happened, but something that is true, simply because this is how the law viewed it.
Right. And Lex in the comments, y'all keep saying the straw man argument, and I don't understand how a question can be a straw man. Right? It's literally just an analogy, right? It's not a mischaracterization. The principle is that if something is legal, it's valid, according to Marcy. That is literally what her claim is, right? If your claim is that something is, if something is legal, then it's valid, right? Then you're going to lose there.
Somebody said, I'm non-binary, so I clearly exist. W argument.
Why is Marcy even in here? Kim, the one person that you actually need to mute, you're not muting. Kim muted everybody else. And define woman. I said a woman was an adult human female so long ago. Hi, Jackson. I said that a woman was an adult human female long ago. Thank you, Kim, for muting Marcy. Until Marcy wants to come up into the box and debate good faith.
I don't get how that's a straw man argument. It's testing your logic, right?
It's literally it's a simple analogy, right? And you could also argue that like somebody came up and did mention this is what Leo came up and asked her, right? Like if she believes it all, everything once it's legal, it's valid. Could you not also say that she's another one of the people who say that there's anti-trans bills? So it begs the question: are anti-trans bills valid because they're legal? And then she shifts the goalpost like a cocky little bitch, and then goes, "Well,
Are they federally passed? Are the laws federally passed?"
And I'm like, well, hold on, that was not the claim. You said it had to be legal to be valid. You didn't say it had to be federally passed, right? That's not what you said, right? And she just wouldn't answer the question. She's jumping. I'm like, okay, let's just
like the way you just nip that in the bud is just like, okay, if being trans was banned today, would you agree with this, right? And if they say no, then it's like, okay, then why are we talking about whether or not it's legal?
Exactly. That's why an appeal to legality fallacy just fucks up the entire argument, which is what I was explaining to her. But Marcy doesn't listen. She just talks.